name is Tetu Kishoyan, and I'm originally from Kenya.
And you live here now?
I live in Sarasota, in about an hour south of here.
And how many children do you have?
We have 2.
And so the son that we're going to talk about, Victor.
Victor, yeah.
He's your eldest or yours?
He's actually the second born. I have a daughter who's about 20 months older than him, and she's not as severely. When I look back at her medical records, she did have an injury with her asthma, but today we're basically talking about
Victor.
Victor.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us his story.
Okay, so I was 40 when I had Victor, and you know, when you're 40, everybody tells you that, oh, you know, something might happen, you're so old, and so on and so forth, and because you're labeled at risk. And so that's one of the things that I guess with all the testing that they did during gestation, you know, that's one of the things sort of they put in our heads, that something might possibly be wrong with our child. And for that reason, I got a lot of different tests. I did decline all the vaccines, so I don't attribute any of that time to his injury. But I was a little bit anemic, but that's about that. And he was just a healthy baby with an APGAR score of 9. So what I didn't know, that I've found out since, you know, listening to all the peeps, is that that the reason he had jaundice, and he had jaundice after the first day, was because he had the hepatitis B initially, the first day of his birth, which I don't even remember giving consent. It's amazing how, you know, you get the anesthesia and everything, and you're sort of out of sorts, and then next thing you know, your child, you know, is brought to you an hour later, and after you've had the baby, and they've had vaccines. I don't ever recall giving consent. But so he was a healthy little boy. I did not nurse him on the first day because they thought that I had blood clots, so I had to go back into OR and have that taken care of. And so the next day he was able to latch on and everything. He still had pretty severe jaundice, and so we were in the hospital for 3 days. And after that we went home. He seemed to be growing, you know, normally and everything. Then we had our 2 months vaccines, and after that he had an issue with he was throwing up, and so of course they thought it was acid reflux, and so we started all, you know, the antibiotics and all of that. Thereafter he had a rash.
How much antibiotics did he have? Do you remember? I mean, vaguely. How many courses?
Oh, at least 2. Yeah, 2 rounds of antibiotics, because the acid reflux continued. I think it was persistent. We weren't able to stop any of that for quite a while. And then after that, I'm just looking at his medical records now. He had a yeast rash all over his body, and then he also had, they noted here, by the time he had his 6 months vaccines, he had you know, problems with asthma, so bronchitis.
So they gave him a kind of inhaler type thing?
Yes, yeah, we had the buterol, the steroids.
Well. Yes, the same story.
Very common, very common. My daughter also had that. Yeah, he had all of that, and croup. And fast forward, by the time we got to 9-10 months, he was having severe diarrhea, and then after that he was vacillating between diarrhea and constipation, and he stopped sleeping. When you see this picture here, you can see all of that, you know, stuff under his eyes. He was not sleeping. At this point he was already almost past 3 years old, but he was not sleeping by the time he was, I would say, from 9 months to 18 months he didn't sleep. He would go to bed, and within 2 hours of his going to bed he would scream, you know, that shrill scream that you hear everyone talk about. And he would be sleeping in a V, like an upside down V, and I would have to rock him all night. So if he wasn't sleeping, that meant I wasn't sleeping.
It's terrible. And having no sleep is good. Is this your beautiful older daughter?
Yeah, that is, yeah. She's now in 7th grade. And so we ended up actually at the hospital with having to get an enema because his constipation was so bad. And that happened once, and after that we kept using, you know, that whole treatment with the Marilax and the bulb treatments. Nobody likes that. But we had to do that regularly because he wouldn't go, and our doctors always said that boys don't usually hold themselves, and they just don't go. And you know, he had been going regularly before, but that's what
we
that's
have
what the
to
doctors
write
told
this
us.
book of the stupid things that doctors say to us.
Yeah, I think that
I mean,
we could make it really
just
fun.
got to do it, people, between us, because it'll also be a warning to all other parents of what this is what you're going to hear.
I had what people would say, you know, by all parents' admission, a really good pediatrician, because I called her references, all the reviews were great, and I think she really was ignorant. I think she really was in the dark, and it made two of us, which
But when you
is
went back
terrible.
with him, with Victor, after he had been damaged,
Yeah.
to your pediatrician, and said, "Look, my son is sick," what did she say?
Well, we went to the wellness checks, and every time, you know, she sent him to the hospital, and I can see here noted, I can see everything here noted, and she did refer us to Early Steps, which is the organization that comes to do that. They come and do an observation, but they can't really tell you that your child has autism. They just come and observe your child and see whether he qualifies for services, you know, like, you know, therapy services and so on and so forth. So she was, I think she really didn't know.
You took your child in all good faith to your pediatrician. If she had done her homework and read the inserts, your child would not have had so many vaccines on there. It's her duty as a pediatrician to make sure that what she is about to give your child is going to be safe. And that did not happen, and that is her job. So I think you're wonderful and forgiving, and we should probably all be like you. But please know that what happened to your child was malpractice. You were not told about any of the side effects that could happen to your son. He now has severe issues, and she should have done her job better.
Yeah.
And I know she was nice, and I know she referred you, and I'm pleased that that's what you had. But please know that she was the ultimate person that put those, ordered those vaccines to go into your child, and there were too many, and your child couldn't cope.
We had all these different issues here. We had yeast rash, GERD, viral illness, pharyngitis, bronchitis, OM fever, blinking eyes, croup, all this stuff following wellness. But one of the things...
and did they continue to vaccinate after all those things?
Yeah, because everybody was clueless. Everybody was clueless, including myself.
Now tell me about Victor today. What's this? What have these vaccines taken away from him?
Oh, goodness. I always tell people it's like, you know, it's like a slow death. It really is. It's like the death of all the dreams and all the things you've ever hoped for your child. You know, all the things that we imagined that he would do. That's what I tell people. That's what I told our church when they started a special needs, a buddies special needs program, so that so we could remain at church. We laugh. I was telling Josh that we laugh at all the stuff he does, because if we don't laugh, we're gonna cry. And I've cried a lot. I've cried a lot. I just feel like I can't bear to have another child and family go through it, because it's millions of dollars, and our son is, I mean, he's such a joy. But this is not what God made.
No, it isn't.
No.
Does Victor speak?
No, he doesn't speak. He doesn't. He doesn't speak, but he's so happy. You see, he always has a smile on his face. He's beautiful. But we know that there was so much more that God intended for him, and that all has been taken away from him and from us, because I mean, he was born perfect. He was born perfect. Look at him. He's there with his balloons. I don't know if he quite understands his birthday. He was smiling, kept smiling. Kept saying happy birthday to him, and he was smiling. I think he knew. That it was a special day for him. And the thing is that what people don't understand, and I know that many people have to have a child who's injured before they listen. But I mean, if they only knew the heartache, you know, the cost. I mean, it'll never end. And that heartache that, you know, you don't know. You know, you want to live forever, because, you know, you keep thinking, who's going to take care of your child? And, you know, and now in Kenya, now you hear about autism a lot. You never used to hear about it. If you talk about Nairobi, any of the big cities, you're going to have people that are well off, and therefore you're going to have more vaccine compliance. And now we have April's autism awareness. Now we have autism awareness in Kenya, and they're talking about autism left and right. So I have friends there that I've been feeding them information.
Good for you. Well, you're doing great work. Thank you for telling your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for all your sacrifice.